Hey again from the garden, it's Christina from Sunshine and Flora. So today I'm planting some perennials that I'm going to be using for future cut flowers in the garden, and I'm really excited to share these with you. I've actually had these for quite a while and I've been meaning to plant them for weeks. So today is the day, and I want to go through all the varieties with you first, show you some that I planted last year so you can see how they size up from year to year, and then we're going to plant it in the ground. I'll show you where they are going. These perennials are from an online company called New Garden Plants, and their website, I'll put it on the screen, is newgardenplants.com. I am not affiliated with them or sponsored by them. I just really enjoy ordering from their company. I have for the past couple years. I think they have really great variety and really great prices. They come in these quart containers. I think that's what they're called, 4-inch containers, something like that. So the plants are smaller, but cheaper than you would get at the normal garden center. And these plants really do size up very fast. So the first one you can see is a Proven Winners, and it is a sedum. And it is loving its life right now. It is so happy. This is the Rock and Glow Back in Black, and I have 2 of these to plant, and I will not be cutting off of any of these this year. When I plant perennials for cut flowers, I give them a full year at least to develop before I start cutting off of them. And again, I'm going to show you some that I planted last year that I probably can cut off later this season. But these for now will get planted in the garden. They will grow and I'll let them develop, and then I can probably partially cut part of the plant next year. But the Rock and Glow Back in Black is such a unique one because it is the dark foliage, and I just think it will look good in the garden with all of the other green that I have. Now I have a couple other varieties here. I have 3 of this one, and this one is getting really big. This is the Autumn Fire Sedum, and it's got almost like a little bit of variegation in the leaf. It's got a lighter center with the darker edge. That's really pretty. And then I have 2 of the Thunderhead. Now these leaves are kind of a medium green and they get fuchsia blooms. And this variety, this one will get 30 inches wide and 24 inches tall. I'm not sure what this one is because it doesn't say on the tag. The Autumn Fire, I'll put the stats up on the screen. I'm gonna have to Google that before I plant it because I wanna make sure to put the taller ones in the front. And then this one gets 20 to 24 inches tall. So this one is shorter right now, but it's gonna get a little bit taller in the end. So I wanna make sure to put this one in front and then this one kind of behind it. Now I also have 1 echinacea, and this one is called Aloha, and I just have 1 of these because I need to replace one that died that I had planted last year. And what I will probably do is I'm going to go ahead and clip this bloom. I actually already clipped a stem on it, or they did. I can't remember, but I'm going to remove the bad leaves and I'm going to clip that stem. That way the plant can put growth into the actual plant versus blooms. I have a few of these echinacea. These are going to go at my house, but I do have some plants at my house that I clip for cut flowers as well. The blooms on this are almost spent besides this first one. This is the Double Scoop Mandarin. We have a red house, and so I thought this bright red would just look really fun in front with some other yellow and white echinacea I have. So I have 3 of these. You won't see me plant these today because they're going to my house, but I just wanted to show them to you anyway. And then, whoops, it's gonna fall out of the greenhouse here. Then I have a couple of these, and I need to clip these blooms off to let the energy go back to the plant, but I wanted to leave it on for this video. This is the Midnight Masquerade Penstemon, and I will show you the ones that I currently have in the garden. I have 4 of these out in the garden already. I love these plants. Now, I don't necessarily use the bloom and cut flowers, but once all the petals fall off, the seed pods are really pretty, and I like to use the seed pods in bouquets, or I will dry them and use them in dried bouquets. But the dark leaves and the unique color of the bloom just really add a lot to the garden. So those are all of the varieties that I'm planting today. Let's walk over and I want to show you the difference between what the first year plant will look like and what they look like in their second year, because they really put on a lot of growth. So this is the area that those perennials are getting planted. I have a little space along the building over here, but I have this middle section right here where I think I'm going to be putting a bunch of them, the sedum anyway. And actually, here are the sedum that I was talking about. So here is the sedum I'm going to plant today on the right. That's what they look like in their first year. And look how much bigger they get in their second year. They really branch out nicely and really add a lot of stems. It's quite amazing from year to year. So I have all of my Sahara Rebeckia and a couple sedum here, so that spot is full. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set out the plants and kind of stagger them in the middle here, because this is my walkway. So I can fill up this planting area, and then I have a little bit of space over here. But I think the Midnight Masquerade Penstemon may go over in this area, which, oh my gosh, I've got a bunch of Rebeckia and Foxglove planted here. This is getting weeded today. So I may tuck them in here because, and I gotta watch my step. We've gotten so much rain lately, so I really gotta watch where I'm walking. My straw flower, by the way, some of them are starting to bud up. These have grown like crazy in the rain. Same with the zinnias down there. This is all weeds. My husband tried to till that this weekend and it was just too muddy. But I've got some sunflowers growing on really good. The weeds are so bad this year. But this is where the Midnight Masquerade Penstemon is currently planted. And you can see them back in here. There's 2 here, and then there's 2 more over here. But they have already lost their blooms. Let me focus on one of these for you. Hopefully you can see that okay. This is what the seed pods look like. They're really cool. And these plants get quite big. So I think probably tucking them in the new landscape area over there is gonna be my best bet. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up the camera and I'm gonna set these plants out. I'll get the holes burnt in the landscape fabric. I'll get them all planted. I'm going to be amending the holes with the Biotone starter fertilizer, not the sedum. Sedum do not like fertilizer, so I don't have to amend those holes. But the echinacea and the penstemon, I will put a little bit of fertilizer in those holes. I'll lay them out, get them planted, and then I will show you what they look like when they're done. One other thing about echinacea, you maybe don't think of immediately as a cut flower option, but I really like them, especially for that wildflower look in the summer. I have a ton of pink ones in bloom right now. I have a bridal shower at the end of the week that is requesting 6 large bouquets. She wants the wildflower look, so I'm really thankful to currently have those echinacea. All right, little ramble there. Let's get to planting. Okay, you guys, it's actually a few days later. It has been quite a week. I tell you what, I got those sedum planted, so I want to pop out there and show you where those are. I got the echinacea planted. I did not get the penstemon planted that day, and I still haven't. We have had so much rain every day, like over an inch every day. I actually just had a flooded basement. We've been dealing with that. It's been way too muddy to plant in the garden. It's just been really crazy. My basement it was backed up with sewage, and it's pretty gross. And yeah, life is life. But anyway, I do want to conclude this video by taking you outside, showing you where those are planted. And then that whole area that I showed you was super weedy. I did get that all weeded, and I want to show you how that's looking as well, because that is filled with perennials, and that is where the penstemon will go. So let's hop outside to the garden, and I will show you those areas that are done. All right, so we're out in the garden. We've had inches and inches of rain, and everything is looking pretty happy except for the plants that are leaning over because we've had inches of rain and it's knocked them over. But my Sahara Rudbeckia is looking awesome. I've been harvesting these for bouquets. I just love this plant. But here is how the sedum ended up. I think these are going to be so nice. And actually, I had 3 of the dark ones. I found another one, so that's why it's over there on their own. But I think this area will be really pretty to fill in for the sedum. And then I do still have a little space here between the sedum and this self-seeded echinacea. So I can plant maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 more perennials here as well, which that'll be really nice. And then if we pop over here, I'm going to try not to step in the mud. Behind those self-seeded echinacea, I have some phlox, some rudbeckia, some more echinacea. I put that random Aloha echinacea plant because that will fill in, and I can maybe put another one there or let some more self-seeded ones go. But this area is just starting to really, really look pretty. This garden, half weeds, half flowers. I mean, it's just one of those years. It's just going to be one of those years. All right, and now we are over at this area. In the previous footage, this was completely filled with weeds. I have it all cleared out. It's looking so much better. The plants can breathe. But over here, these are all plugs that I planted maybe a couple months ago. So the bigger leafed plants, these are all foxglove Dalmatian peach. And in fact, I've got my first bloom stock forming. I'm so excited. I love Dalmatian peach foxglove. I grew them years ago, the first year that I had this garden, and they were beautiful. And then the short ones, they go in a drift all the way along here. Those are more Sahara Rudbeckia. So I think that's going to be really pretty. My yarrow is blooming its head off. I've been harvesting that like crazy. So I have this middle area yet to fill. So the Midnight Masquerade penstemon are going to go in there somewhere, I think, maybe over on the end to kind of frame that section off. And then in the front, this is a whole line of strawberries. And that is why there's these pine shavings here, because I have mulched the plants. I ordered these as roots. Oh my gosh, there's a strawberry. I've been trying to pick the blooms off because I want the plants to develop, but one got away from me. I'll have to pick that later, but these are doing so good. So I just kind of wanted a border of strawberry plants. I really wanted to develop strawberry plants in the garden. So I think it's going to be cute. And then along the back, since we're out here, I've got the cellar door open. I'm venting the sewer smell out of the basement. Oh, it's so bad down there. I'll put a picture up on the screen. Here's when it was flooded with sewage. And here's when it receded. It's probably like half mud, half gross. So anyway, I'm venting and letting the smell out, and my husband's on his way up to squeegee the floor. Anyway, that's gonna be super fun. But this is a little pathway. I'm gonna have to mulch this, and so it's not so muddy. But I've got foxglove. There's some hostas here. There's a hosta on the end. It's just gonna be kind of a secret pathway over to the other side of the garden. I think it's gonna be so pretty, and this area is gonna be so fun to develop. Okay, so that's gonna do it for this video. I tell you what, this year of gardening is not going how I planned. I have a lot of great things in the ground, and I have been making so many bouquets. I've had 20 bouquets go out the door, I think just yesterday. So it's been a good season so far, but with all the rain, I haven't even planted my dahlias yet. That is such a fail. I've got the trenches dug, then it rained again, and I just need to throw them in the ground. They may rot, but some of them may not, and whatever. I just need to get them in the ground. So anyway, I have a garden tour coming up. I will show you and update you guys on everything, but that's the rest of this video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing a few of the cut varieties of perennials that I have in the garden with what I planted and with the foxglove and rudbeckia. I think perennials are going to be half of my cut flower garden because they come back year after year, and I think it's just a really great investment to make. So if you don't have a lot of perennials for cut flowers in your garden, I highly recommend that you add some. So I'm cutting the video off here. I hope you're having a really great day. Hope you had a great 4th of July. Stay tuned for a lot more, and we'll see you soon.